I'm Doug English. I'm in the Department of Chemistry at Wichita State University. I'm a professor there. I teach physical chemistry, and my research involves spectroscopy, which is looking at the interaction of light with matter, and colloidal systems. At the time that we did this invention, Srinivasa Raghavan and I had been working together on using inexpensive detergents to assemble into very small spheres, about a thousandth the width of a human hair, and loading these up with drugs that could slowly be released. In the end, what we had a way to deposit this natural material spatially using electrodeposition and embedding in the film these small particles with a chemical that could slowly be released. The current direction is to use it kind of like as a replacement for gauze. So rather than stuffing gauze into a bleeding wound, you press this on there and it stops the bleeding, and at the same time acts as its own antimicrobial because it could have antibiotics embedded in it. Yeah, so the patent came about. It was a collaboration between three professors, myself, Srinivasa Raghavan, and Greg Payne. They're at the University of Maryland. The three of us working together and having lunch and thinking about grant proposals and that sort of thing that led us to decide on the experiments that eventually became the patent. So it was really a collaborative effort, things that we were already doing together that just kind of came together through some brainstorming. One of the neat things about the discovery was that we could remove this film or gel from the original electrodes and use it by itself, or we could leave it on the electrodes and use it as a sensor, because electrodes provide access to the external world. That was kind of where it came from, and students got involved, and pretty soon we were ready to write it up, and we thought, well, this is pretty novel, we should probably file a patent disclosure on it, and that later became a patent. One of the students who worked on this project started a company and licensed this technology, and that company is called Gel-E, and they have pushed this on to gain FDA approval to use these gels as a way to stem bleeding during surgery or during a medical emergency. On the patent, only graduate students, but we've had undergraduate and graduate students in all three labs that have contributed to elements of this before and after the patent. So students do all the work. We talk about it like this, and we ask for money, and we go to conferences, but generally the bulk of the laboratory work is done by students. The vast majority of the work is done by students, both graduates and undergraduates. Being There is my favorite book. Well, that character is Chauncey Gardner, and I like Chauncey Gardner. No, I have a few, but I'll stick to the one I usually say, which is Dr. Strangelove. Well, I like to garden. I like to do a lot of things outside, bird watch, camp, kayak. I like a lot of the old rock and roll, and lately I've been listening to a lot of this guy Jeff Lynne, who was a musician, was the leader of Electric Light Orchestra and later the Traveling Wilburys, and produced a lot of albums. I think the best advice is, when people tell you something can't be done, to be skeptical, and when you think you've done something really important, be skeptical. So be your own strongest critic. Later, other people are going to do it for you, and you want to sort of be ahead of that. And so it's important to remain optimistic, but also to be skeptical and to be critical of your own work.